The Valdrine Empire had ruled the galactic trade routes for 3 millennia. Their ships, sleek and efficient, moved through the void with the grace of cosmic dancers. Commander Zethal had seen every species, every vessel design, every technological marvel the galaxy had to offer. Or so he thought. The distress signal came from Sector 7G, a relatively empty stretch of space near the Orion Spur. It was weak, fragmented, using an encryption protocol no one in the Empire's database recognized. Zethal's curiosity was piqued. In his 2 centuries of service, he'd never encountered a truly unknown species. Prepare for first contact protocols, he ordered his crew, and someone wake up the linguistics specialist. What appeared on their sensors made the entire bridge fall silent. The vessel was massive, nearly twice the size of their flagship, but that wasn't what stunned them. It was the design. Where Valdrine ships were smooth and aerodynamic, this monstrosity looked like someone had welded a city onto a rocket. Irregular modules jutted out at impossible angles, massive cylindrical sections rotated slowly, and strangest of all, sections of it appeared to be damaged, scorched, yet it still functioned. By the ancestors, whispered Pilot Eva, a young Valdrine officer manning the helm. What kind of species build something like that? As they approached, more details emerged. The hull was covered in markings, numbers, symbols, and what appeared to be pictographs. One section displayed a blue and green planet. Another showed a golden disk with radiating lines. And near what might have been the command module, large letters spelled out, UNSS Wanderer, Earth. Earth? Zethal rolled the word around his mouth. It felt primitive, heavy. Never heard of it. The distress signal suddenly clarified, and a voice crackled through their communications array. It spoke in a language that shouldn't have been comprehensible, yet their translation matrix somehow worked. This is Luis Reyes, chief engineer of the Wanderer. We've suffered catastrophic damage to our antimatter containment system. Request immediate assistance. Repeat. Request immediate assistance. Zethal activated the communication link. Unknown vessel, this is Commander Zethal of the Valdrine Empire. We're approaching your position. What is your species designation? A pause. Then, human. We're humans. From Earth. Sol system. Look, we can do the formal introductions later. We have about 6 hours before this containment field collapses and takes half the sector with it. Humans. Zethal had never heard of them, which meant they were either incredibly isolated or incredibly new to space travel, yet they possessed antimatter technology. Transmit your technical specifications, Zethal ordered. We'll see what we can do. What came through made the engineering team's translator devices malfunction twice. The humans used measurement systems that made no sense. Their power output calculations were astronomical, literally off the charts. And their solution to faster-than-light travel was so brute force, so inelegant, that it bordered on madness. They're using controlled explosions? Eva gasped, reading the data. They're literally detonating fusion bombs behind electromagnetic shields and riding the shockwave. That's insane, muttered the engineering chief. The structural stress alone should tear the ship apart. Apparently humans build to withstand it, Zethal said, a note of respect creeping into his voice. They docked with the Wanderer's emergency port. What they found inside changed everything they thought they knew about spacefaring species. The corridors were cramped, utilitarian, and covered with safety warnings in a dozen languages, but they were also filled with life. Real life. Humans had brought plants aboard. Actual growing photosynthesizing plants. One corridor opened into what they called a rec room, where off-duty crew members played physical games, exercised and socialized. Luis met them at the antimatter containment bay. He was tall by Valdrine standards, with dark skin glistening with sweat and eyes that held both exhaustion and determination. He wore a jumpsuit covered in pockets, tools hanging from every available loop. "Thank the stars," Luis said, barely acknowledging the aliens before him. "We need to stabilize the magnetic field in Section C7. Can your people handle high radiation environments?" Zethal's translator actually hiccuped at the casual way Luis asked if they could survive lethal radiation. "Our suits are rated for moderate exposure," he replied carefully. Luis nodded. "Good enough. Eva, get the backup coils from Storage Bay 3. A woman appeared from around a corner, and Zethal realized with shock that this was a different Eva, a human one. She had short red hair, sharp green eyes, and moved with the efficiency of a veteran engineer despite appearing young by any species standards. "On it, boss," she called back, already sprinting down the corridor. For the next 5 hours, Valdrine and human engineers worked side by side. Zethal watched in amazement as these humans, these newcomers to the galactic stage, jury-rigged solutions that shouldn't work, but somehow did. They used duct tape, actual adhesive tape, to temporarily seal a coolant leak on an antimatter containment unit. And it worked. When the containment field finally stabilized, Luis collapsed against a bulkhead, grinning. Eva, the human Eva, handed him a flask of something that Zethal's sensors identified as mildly toxic. "Water," Luis explained, seeing the commander's expression. "Just water. We need a lot of it." "How long have your people been in space?" Zethal asked. Luis thought for a moment. "As a species? Less than a century of true deep space exploration. This ship left Earth 40 years ago. We're heading to Proxima Centauri to establish humanity's first extrasolar colony. Less than a century. These humans had gone from planet-bound to building antimatter-powered generation ships in less than a century. Your technology is crude," Zethal said honestly. "Dangerous. Inefficient." Luis laughed. "Yeah, we know. But it works. That's kind of humanity's thing. We make it work, whatever it takes." Before Zethal departed, he transmitted his full report to the Valdrine High Council. He included every scan, every technical specification, every observation about these remarkable humans. His final note read, "They are new, crude, and by all logical standards should not have survived their own technology. But they possess something. We've lost an indomitable will to explore, to survive, to push forward no matter the odds. The galaxy should prepare itself. Humanity has arrived, and nothing will ever be the same." As the Valdrine ship pulled away, Luis and Eva stood in the observation deck, watching them go. "Think they'll tell others about us?" Eva asked. Luis smiled. "Oh, I guarantee it. Welcome to the galaxy, humanity."